Sports 50 brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun in my morning, babe.
It is Wednesday, March 9, 2022, and you're checking in with Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. It will be a short show today. We actually have to accommodate our coverage for Ole Miss versus Mizzou at the SEC tournament. The pregame will be at 4:30, tip-off at 5, so we'll have about an hour and a half with you today. But we're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Gabe Kuhn, producing the program on the ones and twos. Go Tigers 247 writer Bryant Dacus. Brian, how are you? You win some bets last night?
Oh, yeah, we went, we broke even pretty much last night. So we're off to a good start this morning. So, it's just,
okay,
good you go with the flows.
Hey, it's March.
Exactly.
It's March. There's enough games.
There are plenty of games.
You can figure it out. My partner does pre and post for the Almost Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy. Brett, how are you?
I'm great, Gabe, and Ole Miss and Missouri will follow us in the season sweep from Mizzou. I think they won one game by 6 and another one they beat them in Oxford by 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember that one.
Yes. We'll see what happens. Ole Miss actually 4-point favorites this second. You know what, Brett? Brian and I talked about this before the show, and I know they're going back to Nashville soon, but having the SEC tournament in Tampa is just bizarre. It's weird. Just weird. I don't like it.
Might as well be in Gibraltar.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It doesn't make much sense.
No. I've been to the SEC tournament in Memphis twice, several times in Atlanta, several times in New Orleans. I haven't been in Nashville.
Nashville will be fun. Nashville will be good.
It's the fit, and it's where it will be after this year. I mean, literally out to 20, 38, 39, 40 or so.
Yeah.
I think out to 38, then with a 5-year option either side. Y'all have to be talking about that one. I promise you, in 2038, my March Madness will be it will be past the shining moment.
First time our show
my moment will have shined.
Brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. We have a lot to get to today. We'll get right into it. 3:30, Alex Kuhn will join us from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids. We'll talk some Big Ten. We'll talk some NFL, some Combine. By the way, today we have Carson Wentz on the move. Carson Wentz joining the Washington Commanders.
Back to the East.
How
that means
about
he has
it?
to go to Philly. Boy, he'll be treated so well.
Oh, yeah, I can
he?
only imagine. Just like Ben Simmons.
Hey,
Ben
Carson,
Simmons tomorrow,
love
too.
you.
Hey, Ben Simmons headed back to Philly tomorrow. He'll be treated
bouquets,
great,
rainbows, daffodils, rose petals.
And then because of our short program, we will not be able to bring on our guy Kevin Sweeney from College Basketball Central, but we will have Blake Lovell still from Blue Ribbon Magazine at 4 o'clock. And then we'll get to Taco Bell Crunch Time at about 4:15. AutoZone listener line, join us in this short show today, 901-360-8255. Get in the Zone AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website at sports56whbq.com. Brett, I filled up my gas tank yesterday. I made the mistake of letting it get to E.
How many gallons?
20.
That's 80.
Oh, boy.
It was 91.
Ooh.
It was 20. Well, I guess 21 gallons in the end of the day.
Right here by the station,
$91.
over here in front of Walmart's, much cheaper than a lot of other places.
I'm not a guy that complains all the time, but damn that guy.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and it's different everywhere. I've seen $4.19 at some places, $3.99.
That place just right there, catty corner from the station, I think is the highest in North America.
What's
right
that?
by it, right across it. I don't want to call any names, but I mean it always runs higher than everywhere else, and literally a tenth of a mile down the road is one of the cheapest places.
Y'all can clue me. Isn't there an app for that to find the cheapest gas?
Yeah.
I need to download that. I need to download that. We're getting to that point. Like 91 caught me off. I was not ready. I was not ready to see that. It is what it is.
Now, the wholesale price today has dropped, but it's always slower to drop at the pump than it is for it to go up. That's amazing, and I love how they tell how it's market driven. I mean, it's just supply and demand, but it never goes down quite at the rate it goes up.
What else I was surprised to see? How about that Wagner-Bryant game? First of all, the Fighting Bryant Dacus has just whooped up on Wagner.
Made me proud.
But the bigger part,
they should have, Bryant.
The bigger part,
your school.
That brawl in the stands was something, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
I
didn't think they could get. I didn't think they were going to get it stopped.
I mean, listen, I know just as good as anybody. Ass whoopings bring the worst out of people.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked like
They
the
do.
Wagner fans were not
They
happy
do.
about it. Like, I understand. But they couldn't get that thing broken up, and you had guys on the Wagner bench ready to join in, run up
Yeah.
in the stand. And it's probably their
Well,
families.
family
Oh, yeah.
members
Right.
being
And
accosted.
Right. And I heard, though, and there's also clips of it, the Bryant fans were being brutal.
Well, we're a real aggressive bunch. You don't want to poke us with a stick. We really get after
Fighting
you.
Dacuses, they broke open a can of it. And what about the shirtless guy that ended up getting cold caught?
Right.
Caught one right to the chops. I must tell you, I loved it.
The ESPN camera, and I don't know how they caught it, but it was on the other
freeze
side.
frame?
It was on
Yeah.
the other side of where the fight was actually happening. There was a Bryant fan putting his middle finger up directly, and they must have been brutal to those Wagner fans to get it to that point.
As the Bryant spokesman,
Okay.
I'm here
Are you
issue.
their PR guy?
I'm their PR guy. I'm here to issue a non-apology to Wagner.
A non-apology.
Kicked you out. No tournament for you. We're going dancing, us Bryants.
That's got to be the worst
First
way to
time
go
ever.
out, though.
First time ever.
That's the worst way to go out. You lose your chance of going to a tournament, and
At least go out with class.
you don't go out with class. You have to issue an apology for missing the tournament.
Most of the Southern college football stuff, interaction, disagreement I've seen through the years, most of it is talk. It's rare that you see actual blows exchange because here's the reason.
A couple of bar brawls here and there, nothing crazy.
But it's such a fan disparity. You recognize we don't have a prayer. We can't go too far. Mm-hmm. And you also recognize strength in numbers and, are you really going to do that to that few of people? I mean, you're talking about a really small crowd, but they had the Wagner fans
Cornered.
I mean, cornered. I mean, they could be studying this at War College.
In Bryant's home gym. It's tough. That's tough to deal with, man.
And they had nowhere to go.
And honestly, what was it, about a 5 or 6 minute break in the action that they had to stop? They had to stop the game for a while.
18 minutes.
It was 18 full minutes? Wait, hold up. No way.
Oh, yeah. I texted you. It had been going on a while. I texted you, get to the NEC game. and you texted me like, yeah, thumbs up. Brian looks good. I went, no. Frank is going on.
I had turned, and I don't know why you were watching at that point. Bryant was up, 35? I mean,
Well, he's
they
a
were killing him.
supporter.
Yeah. He's
No,
a big Bryant guy.
It was a commercial on the other game I was watching. I said, well, I just want to go back and see what the margin is. And that's when they were in the bench area, and you could see it becoming, I'll be nice, fractured. And then
Right.
then it was on, and that's when I texted you to get it over there because it was on.
Mm-hmm. That was
Who knew last night? Smithfield, Rhode Island, Dateline for a fracas. And who had that in the March Madness pool? Monday we had the 10 chat shot, which was a great shot. You watch that over and over. The defense on that, you could argue 3 people in the shooting area. 2 of them bracketed on him in a corner. Heck of a shot. That was on Monday. That goes with March Madness. Last night, what do we get tonight?
And
what do we get the rest
I don't
of
know.
today?
I mean, let's see. What are the exciting games? We have the Patriot League Championship tonight, Colgate Navy.
Does a bid go out tonight in that?
I think a bid goes out.
Okay.
A bid goes out in Patriot League. So Colgate versus Navy.
Love the fighting toothpaste.
By the way, I'm excited to see the who's the guy from Bryant? Peter Kiss.
Peter Kiss. Oh, I love Peter Kiss.
He's the nation's leading scorer.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And he warms up in a Kiss shirt before every game. Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Don't we have to get Raftery doing his game, don't we?
Little Kiss.
Raftery with the Kiss by Kiss.
He had 34 points last night.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was cooking.
Yeah.
How come I can't find the Patriot League game on my scoreboard?
I don't know. What's your score? What app do you use? What scoreboard do you use?
ESPN, the big 4 letters, man.
I couldn't tell you. I
just found it.
Okay,
6:30.
Yeah.
Colgate -7.
Colgate -7.
Over the Navy?
Was it Colgate last year that was like the net?
Yes.
Where in the net rankings, or was the COVID? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Colgate was the.
All right, yes or no?
Good
All
luck.
time.
What were
Colgate.
they? What were they though? Like they were top 15 top 10 all
yeah.
year in the net.
They were the net buster last year. All time. Colgate, Navy, yes or no? Both of them have been to a Final Four. All
Navy,
time.
yes.
Yes.
Colgate, I'll say yes, just because for
Both no.
both no. Navy, no, not even with
But nope.
the Admiral.
Not even with David Robinson.
How about it?
Wow.
Let's see
I
that
think
one.
they got to the Elite Eight with him.
And you know what? He's told us, Brett, you have told us to vote yes on every time you
Yeah.
ask us Final
Tricked
Four.
us.
Oh, trickeration. Oh, switcheroo.
Switcheroo.
You thought the dive play was coming. I just pulled it down and threw the bomb.
Wow.
Brett, if you were a offensive football coach, what are you running? In
veer.
football. Are you a veer guy?
Dive right, dive left.
Are you triple option?
I
Wishbone?
formation, 2 tight ends, bring a guy in motion.
Wait, so like I'm not understanding. Are you pro style? Are you triple option? Wishbone?
No, pro style would be I would be I formation, old school I formation with big shouldered fullback.
Okay.
Big
So
shoulder
you're
pad
going-
fullback.
you're
Big
going-
Lorenzo Neal type at
You're
fullback.
Nasty
going, you're going
offense.
22.
Tom Rathman.
22 personnel all day. 2 backs, 2 tight ends all
Oh
day.
yeah. And just for the heck of it, I run my team in practice just for the heck of it.
Wow.
Just because I can.
Slow pace though. You want the game to be.
Give me some laps.
What do you want? What do you want the game to be? You want the game to be 7-3 when it's all over.
I'm
all
gonna
said
be
and
just
done?
like Gene Stallings. I want to win every game 2-0.
Oh, you're a sick person, Brett.
Yeah.
You are a sick person. All right, now Grizzlies were
If the ball goes in there, it's because we're kicking it.
Grizzlies were in action last night. They get the win over the Pelicans, 132-111, improved to 45-22. They're now tied at that 2 spot with the Warriors because the Warriors handled business last night versus the Clippers. The Clippers stink, by the way. Clippers don't have anybody right now, and Reggie Jackson's been struggling. But I thought
You get down in those play-in teams in the West. I think the play-in teams in the West are much worse than the play-in teams in the East.
I thought the Grizzlies were pretty balanced last night in a lot of
Oh,
ways.
it was beautiful.
And
24,
Jaren,
22,
Jaren,
22.
Jaren really got his game off. Jaren came to play. Didn't rebound all that well, but he didn't need him to. 7 for 13, over 50%, 2 for 6 from 3, 22 points, 3 blocks. He was a plus 47 in the plus minus. I was impressed with his performance last night. But again, we've had a couple in a row that he's stacked that have looked ugly. I want this to become baseline. I want this to be baseline.
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies are certainly building to a big 3, and we know who they are, and step right up for a big 4, and really will have something fun to pull for the rest of this year and for years to come. It's not just basketball tournament week. Brett Northworthy here for FanDuel. It's also Players Championship. It's back one of the best fields in golf, and now you can take a shot at the Island Green with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get 30-1 odds on defending champ Justin Thomas, 2-time major winner Colin Morikawa, or Olympic gold medalist Xander Schauffele, just to make the cut at the Players. That's right. If any of these players make the cut at TPC Sawgrass, you win $150 on a $5 bet. I really like Cameron Smith to do well this week at TPC Sawgrass as well, and Cameron Smith to finish in the top 20. There's no better time to get in on the action with FanDuel Sportsbook. So step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the Players Championship. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app with promo code CASH to get 30-1 odds on Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, or Xander Schauffele just to make the cut at the Players. Sign up with promo code CASH so they know I sent you. FanDuel Sportsbook, official betting partner and operator of the PGA Tour. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bet $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show, indeed, as Gabe said, to start this show, brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. March Madness in full swing at 2600 Ridgeway. Give them a call at 901-362-8833 for any inquiry about the service department or anything else. Great offers on all 2022 models. and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. And everybody at Lexus of Memphis says, go Tigers, go. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the Grizzlies. 132-111 over the Pelicans. The other thing, though, C.J. McCollum continues to be a Grizzlies killer. Even in losses, he plays unbelievably well.
Need to trade for him for no other reason.
Just to keep him from beating you. But Jaren got his game off last night. 22 points, 3 blocks, a plus 47 altogether. They had 3 guys that scored 20 points or more, 6 guys in double figures. And the Grizzlies, last night was noticeable. They made a effort to put up as many threes as humanly possible, it felt like. They put up 44 last night. And I don't know what the reasoning is.
Volume.
I think they want to put up some volume to see if they can sort of shoot themselves out of the slump they've been on, but they were 16 for 44. Thought Desmond Bane played relatively well. He was 5 for 9. Ja, 2 for 4 from 3. But they went out of their way. But the big thing is they kept their foot on the gas, unlike they did against the Rockets. They had 30 assists, and they made sure they put the Pelicans away relatively early. They're number 2 in the Western Conference right now. Warriors beat the Clippers, so I guess they remain a half game back by definition, but they're tied for second. Friday versus Knicks, Sunday at Thunder. Grizzlies have a chance to stack on some wins. They need to go do it so they can take control of that number 2 spot.
I'm right there with you. Top story, Grizzlies just pound the Pelicans, 22 for Jaren Jackson, 22 for Desmond Bane, but 24 for the ringleader, Ja Morant. The big 3, 16 made threes for the Grizzlies last night, and a rare good free throw shooting night for the Grizzlies. The Tigers improved their free throw shooting over the course of the year, still 265th overall in college basketball, but the Grizzlies, 28th in the NBA in free throw shooting.
Not great. Not great, and they're right around there for three-point shooting as well.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story today has to do with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gets traded to the Commanders, Washington Commanders. And it's not my not top story because I think it's a bad move. I think the Commanders needed to go get a quarterback, and Carson Wentz is certainly one that was available. They're going to have to pay him a lot of money, so they're taking the risk. But now you trade him for 2 third-round picks, and you got to see what he can do. And what Carson Wentz has done, it's bizarre. You go look at his statistics. Last year, 27 TDs, 7 interceptions. The only bad year he had was 2020 with the Eagles, where he had the problems with fumbling and all of the interceptions. I really looked at this, Brett, and it feels like the Commanders become the 2021 Colts, and the Colts become the 2021 Commanders. Because the Commanders have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. They have Antonio Gibson. They have a good O-line. They have Terry McLaurin. They have a lot of things working for them. But Carson Wentz has to come through in big moments. And we haven't seen that. But I do want to give these stats out. Versus the NFC East, and this is more of a shot against the NFC East than to say Carson Wentz is a fantastic quarterback in the National Football League. But versus the NFC East, Carson Wentz is 16-9, 42-14 TD to INT with a 65% completion percentage. Against all other opponents from any other division, 28-31-1, 98 TDs to 43 interceptions, and 62% completion percentage. So he knows how to play against these NFC East teams, but the Commanders got to take advantage of it.
Well, he'll get them 6 times. What do you think that record will be next year when he plays the other 3 NFC East teams?
Ooh, I'm going to go 4-2. 3-3. 2-4.
I'm all over
I'm
the
going
place.
4-2. I'm gonna go.
You'll
4-2.
be right somewhere.
Listen. I'm gonna say 4-2 because Eagles don't give me any hope.
Does he go to Dallas and
Giants
win?
really don't give me hope. I think he can beat Dallas.
Does he go to
at
Philly
home.
and win?
I think why?
Watch him
why
out, Gabe.
not? Why not? Why can't he go to Philly and win? What's keeping him from doing that?
Well, they have a much better quarterback there than him, for one.
The mighty Eagles.
I would disagree with that. But hey, opinions
And
are
by the
opinions.
time he plays some of them late in the year, he'll be hurt and won't be playing. So.
Brett, you say Jalen Hurts. You think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz already? I think he's got to show. He's got to show me more. He's got to show me.
I think
more.
I'd rather go out there opening day with Hurts. I would. Neither one. It's not a great opportunity with either one, but I think I'd rather. I know enough about Carson Wentz, and I still got the unknown about Hurts.
Listen. Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz is Kirk Cousins. When the bright lights get on, he seems to struggle. When he needs to make a play, he seems to struggle. But statistically, production, I mean, he's fine. He's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he's right there with Dak from a production standpoint. So,
and if he hadn't gotten hurt, he would have been the beneficiary of that Eagles run. That wouldn't have been Nick Foles.
Yeah.
When he got hurt out at Los Angeles at the Coliseum.
He's a big reason they had that Super Bowl run.
He sure was. He was instrumental.
Hadn't been the same,
top story.
Hadn't been the same though since.
Baseball, once again, it seems really close, but then we find this problem and that problem.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the players just wanted to take care of the younger guys? Well, they got that done. They wanted the CBT race. Well, they got that done. Every time we get close to the finish line, it's really like trying to just stop the leaks in the dam. You get that one stopped, and then 3 more pop up. And that is the clever work of Scott Boras, because he's working them now like a spare rib.
Right. But listen, every time they say they're close, every time I see Bob Nightingale go on Twitter and say, oh, they're so close to a deal, that's supposedly close to a deal. I don't believe that. I feel like it's all narrative control from both sides. I'm not going to blame it all on the owners. I'm certainly not going to blame it all on the players. But the narrative control with this whole thing has been annoying.
Who's the baseball guy you think's most in the hip pocket of the owners?
Baseball guy most in the – that's a good question.
Nightingale?
Certainly not passing.
Definitely not passing.
No. He's anti-pocket.
Heyman or Nightingale is my guess, I'd say.
Yeah.
Heyman
They're
not
pretty
so
cozy.
much, though.
I'd say Nightingale.
I'd say Nightingale.
Jesse Rogers and Passan are playing a really good cop, bad cop game.
Bob Nightingale is I don't want to call him out too bad. He's right on some things. He's wrong about a lot. He's wrong a lot. Stop putting those tweets out from those sources. Those sources ain't it. Yeah, industry sources. Who are your industry sources? Or can you not name names?
I can't tell. Insiders say.
Brett.
I feel like half the time when people say sources, come on. You
think
really have
it's
a
made
source? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
speculating, guessing.
Not like Schefter and Passan.
I was going to ask you guys
sources.
yesterday.
I trust those guys.
Yeah.
But when you see some random non-checkmark person with 500 followers saying that they have sources telling them something, no. I don't
Gabe,
believe those sources.
you have a journalism degree, and Bryant, you will have one in 2 months from the University of Memphis. And yesterday when I was talking about Woodward and Bernstein, who broke arguably the biggest story of the 20th century that brought down a president. Did y'all have to read that, study that, watch the movie, anything, no reference to it, nothing?
Not at all.
Nothing. Okay.
I mean, I've had some professors bring it up, but nothing like we're not teaching lessons about it.
Yeah. I mean, this was two
we've heard
Cub reporters that got that.
We've heard about it. Never had to study it.
Wow. Okay.
Wild. Pretty wild, isn't it? Pretty wild. Yeah. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. We also need to have a conversation with the NFL. They really tried to, yesterday they upstaged, they tried to upstage National Women's Day. That was not okay.
Yeah, show some respect.
That was messed up,
Show
man.
some respect.
Aaron Rodgers has to make his decision. Russell Wilson has to get traded on that day.
It was all keyed off the Calvin Ridley story. Calvin Ridley story had been Tuesday. Those signings would have been today.
All this damn toxic masculinity going around in the NFL. We got to chill out. We got to relax. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we bring on Alex Kuhn from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids right here on Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
When you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get great savings and round-the-clock protection, which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors. Presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
The global shortage on chicken is finally over, but there are still places that will tell you that it is hard to find, except for our good friends at Poultry Power. Poultry Power is currently delivering chicken in bulk to your home or business at prices lower than your local grocer or food distributor. Having a cookout or catering event? Tired of being told no by other food companies when you need chicken for your restaurant? Poultry Power can save the day. Visit www.poultrypower.org to place your order now. And remember, when others tell you no, Poultry Power has the power to tell you yes.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
Back rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Autos on listen line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone. AutoZone. We go ahead and bring in Alex Kuhn at Alex Kuhn 523 from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids. Alex, what's happening?
Not a whole lot, guys. How are you?
Hanging in there, man. Before we get to the college basketball Big Ten tournament starting tonight, what did you think? What did you think about all of these quarterback moves? I guess we'll start with Russell Wilson. We don't really need to touch Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's just been a bunch of unnecessary drama. What do you think about Russell Wilson going to the Broncos? You think that immediately puts them in contention for a Super Bowl?
Oh, look, I think that team is solid. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're a Super Bowl contender based on the conference and the division that they play in.
Division,
sure. It's certainly not going to be easy, but can they get to the playoffs? Can they push for a spot and contend with some of the better teams in the AFC? We'll see. I think Russell Wilson's a very, very – he's a great quarterback. But you have to have a team around him. And when he was at his best in Seattle, it's when he was on a rookie contract.
Yep. And
the team could keep that defense, that special defense, intact, and that's when they were championship contenders. Since then, they haven't sniffed a Super Bowl, and he's going to make a huge difference. but that's a very, very tough conference to win in with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And you're going against Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert 6 times every year. Not easy.
Right. Guys, know what's wild to me, and this really hit me after the news of Bobby Wagner being released by the Seahawks. Seahawks are done. The Seahawks as we know them, the Pete Carroll, Legion of Boom first, Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, Seahawks, they're gone. They're done.
Oh, yeah, they've been gone for a while, though.
Right, I understand that. But you still
but
had
it's really
some
over now.
You still had some of the remnants. You still had some guys on that roster from the beginning.
True, but the main guys, the reasons that they were the guys that were responsible for keeping them as championship contenders have been gone for a while. And last year, I think, was finally the clarity that this roster is not very good, and Russell Wilson can't keep it afloat any longer, just based on how good Russell Wilson is. So the Seahawks get a ton of picks, and they can start over. And as far as their quarterback situation is concerned, I think that patience is going to be a virtue. So what if they're not great this year, and so what if they have to gut out a year with Drew Lock? Do not jump at a quarterback in the draft that you don't think is a good fit, and do not jump at a quarterback in free agency that you're not sold on just because you need a quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts can tell you how well that worked out.
Alex, you're right about that Seahawks Super Bowl win. That was the outdoor, cold weather, New York City Super Bowl, and everybody picking Peyton Manning and the Broncos to win big. And by the end of the first quarter, that Seahawk defense had peeled and deveined Peyton.
Yeah, those teams were special. And
defensive MVP that day, Malcolm Smith.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Malcolm Smith was a defensive MVP, and he wasn't one of the top 9 guys on defense. That's how deep and loaded that defense was. And they were handing the ball off from Marshawn Lynch away from winning 2 Super Bowls and taking down Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in those Super Bowls. We were St. Louis Rams fans at the time. That team was special, and that defense was special. And they have not the truth is they have not drafted very well these past few years, and it's hard to when you're at the back half of the first round. But now they get a bunch of extra draft picks, and the onus is going to be on John Schneider and Pete Carroll to draft and develop well, because if they don't, this trade's going to be for naught.
Yeah, and with the Seahawks, I don't mind them offloading Russell Wilson. I saw a lot of people saying, well, they immediately lose this because you get rid of a Hall of Fame quarterback. Even with that Hall of Fame quarterback, they were still 3 or 4 in the NFC West. They had no real opportunity to compete. It didn't seem like they were going to be able to climb those standings with what's in the NFC West right this second.
They got everything that they could out of what they had with Russell Wilson. And sometimes things get a little stale, and it's best for both sides to move on. And that's obviously in sports talk radio, that's the worst take you can possibly have. It's got to be all drama. It's got to be he said, she said, and there has to be some sort of vendetta there. But the truth is that's not the case. Russell Wilson needed a new landing spot, and I think that Pete Carroll and John Schneider needed a little bit of a reset because of it. As I said, but they were at their best when Russell Wilson was on a rookie contract. That he's not on a rookie contract anymore, which hinders what they can do. So it's been great. Both sides, maybe there's a little bit of hard feelings at this point, but they'll get over it. Time heals all wounds. And I think this is a good decision for both sides.
So Brett and I discussed this, and I think we share the same sentiment on it. You mentioned needing a reset for John Schneider and for Pete Carroll. John Schneider for sure. Do you think Pete Carroll is going to stick around for an entire rebuild with the Seahawks? He's 70 at this moment.
Yeah, well, I don't. we'll see how quickly they can do it. And
Right.
it's going to depend on whether or not they can find a quarterback. It's really that simple. So they can speed that process up if they find the quarterback. Unfortunately, there are no draft prospects that really jump out at you if you're the Seahawks. But as I said, you can be patient because next year there will be draft prospects that you may have a shot at bringing in to be your next franchise quarterback. And let's remember, they drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. So it's all going to be based on the quarterback position.
That's when Matt Flynn was going to be the savior in free agency.
Yeah,
that's true.
They brought in Matt Flynn.
Big money,
as
Matt
their
Flynn.
big contract quarterback that year, the year they drafted Russell Wilson. Look how that turned out.
Yeah, and so we know Carson Wentz will have to make a trip back to Philly, but also next year in Seattle, the Denver Broncos have to make a trip to Seattle.
Wow. How about that? The first year. You don't see that very often.
Carson Wentz gets to play both the Colts and the Eagles next year too. That'll be fun. What do you think about? I guess we'll just be quick with this one. Carson Wentz, do the Commanders do anything for you?
I think at this point we kind of understand where the career trajectory of Carson Wentz is, and I think it kind of fits in with where the football team, Commanders, whatever their name is. I think it fits with where they're at too, middle of the pack, and maybe pushing for a wild card spot, but they're not going to sniff the division. And I think that when you get Carson Wentz at this point in his career, you fully understand that, or you're just maybe trying to catch lightning in the bottle and realize you have to know that at this point in his career, Carson Wentz is not going to be the quarterback that is certainly going to help you contend for a division with the Dallas Cowboys, much less win a Super Bowl.
Well, the conference tournaments, the big boys get going today. All the power conferences start today. It's not a great slate at some of those games. In the Big Ten, 2 games, Nebraska against Northwestern. Nebraska's maybe playing as well as anyone right now. And Minnesota against Penn State. None of these 4 teams will be around by Friday, will they?
It's funny you mentioned Nebraska because look at the chaos that they caused. Wisconsin, all they needed to do for an outright Big Ten title was to beat Nebraska at home, the worst team in the conference. And Nebraska had been dreadful all year long. They win their last 3 games, all of them on the road, and go into Madison. And not only does Wisconsin not win an outright title, but they fall to the number 2 seed because later that night, Illinois barely squeaked past Iowa in Champaign. So they share the title. Illinois gets the number 1 seed. Maybe Nebraska wins tonight, but they've got whoever wins that game, Nebraska Northwestern has to play a really hot Iowa team that is playing some really good basketball right now, and I do think that they will be out by tomorrow.
So when it comes to Wisconsin, I don't know. I haven't really checked in on the status of Johnny Davis, but curiously, what is Wisconsin this year? That roster and how it's made up, Greg Gard, the whole 9 yards. What is that team without Johnny Davis?
I mean, the Big Ten has a few of those teams, and they're both rivals. Wisconsin and Iowa are in that same mold where they have a really, really good player and guys who have bought into their roles surrounding that really good player. And what do great players do? They make everybody around them better. It's not just a cliche. When somebody like Johnny Davis or Keegan Murray shows the skill set that they have and it has the ability to get their teammates involved the way that they do, it makes everybody better. So, no, they're probably a bubble team or an NIT team. I'm not sure Iowa's even an NIT team without Keegan Murray. But having those guys in place makes you see the progression of all the role players around them as the season moves along. For Wisconsin, they've been pretty consistent all year. For Iowa, their role players like Tony Perkins and Chris Murray, his twin brother, and Jordan Bohannon and Connor McCaffrey, you're seeing them play really, really good basketball down the stretch, and it's a well-oiled machine, and that's why in basketball, one player can make that big of a difference.
And it does look like the update on Johnny Davis is he will actually participate in the Big Ten tournament. Did roll his ankle, though.
Oh, yeah.
Has ankle sprain.
He'll be back.
Tomorrow morning, Indiana and Michigan at 10:30 Central Time, and almost as big as the net and all the rankings and the resume for the defeated team. The game will be over about 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. You've got to sit from 12:30 through the bracket reveal on Sunday as an eliminated team in your first game of the Big Ten tournament. I think just human nature takes over, Alex, in that committee room, and you get forgotten about.
Yeah, well, Indiana loses that game, they're out. Michigan loses that game, they're very uncomfortable because there's a lot of basketball to be played, and a lot of those teams sitting in that last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out still have work to do. So, I mean, that is a crucial game for both teams, and it's interesting because there's a couple of those games in the Big Ten. I think Michigan, if they take care of business, they're most likely going to be in. If not, they're most likely going to be in Dayton. And then Rutgers is a team that's the last 4 in. They got a double bye in the Big Ten tournament. They're a top 4 seed, but they're most likely going to have to face Iowa on Friday in a game that they feel like they almost have to have in order to feel comfortable about getting into the NCAA tournament, because they're one of the last 4 in, and teams behind them have work to do. So there weren't any bid stealers from the mid-major ranks, but that just means that there are teams out there that can make a run in their conference tournaments, and that puts a lot of pressure on teams like Indiana, Michigan, and Rutgers.
Mm-hmm. Alex, it literally feels like Michigan couldn't do enough damage to keep them out, though, to keep them out of the conversation. I mean, they had a loss to the worst team in the Big Ten in Minnesota. They got smacked around by Wisconsin, Ohio State one time. Who else did they lose to? I mean, Rutgers, UCF.
It
felt like they couldn't possibly deter the committee from trying to include them.
Well, the thing about them is they never, when they'd have one of those bad losses, they'd then pick up a good win. Lose at home to Ohio State, win on the road at Iowa. And then they lose to Wisconsin, all hell breaks loose with Juwan Howard.
Right.
Win at home against Rutgers, lose at home against Illinois, win against Michigan State, lose at home against Iowa. Then they bounce back and win at home against win on the road, I should say, against Ohio State. So it's a team that has just barely kept themselves afloat all season long. And when in a year where there's a thin bubble, they look like they're one win away, over Indiana, away from being a virtual lock for the NCAA tournament.
Heck, even with a loss, I think they're probably pretty safely in. But we'll see. We'll see. Alex, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Talk to you guys next week.
Alex Kuhn with us every Wednesday afternoon, and look forward to following the NCAA tournament with him when all the bids are handed out on Sunday. Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh, and at Bellyacres the goal is simple, and it's been achieved. Provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the entire family. 2 great locations now, one on the way this summer, late spring, early summer at Silo Square in South Haven. Right now at Regalia at 6130 Poplar, and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef, sandwiches, salads, everything fresh as it can be, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers like the Dairy or the Double Dairy and the melt in your mouth, and you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo, also good. It's the quality brand, the Bellyacres team. They develop using grass-fed beef with creative toppings in a fun farm family setting right here in the city. The goal at Bellyacres, become even more sustainable as they grow, and grow they will. Silo Square in South Haven come in late spring or early summer, now in Overton Square and in Regalia. It is a fun setting, and right now with all the games on TVs everywhere, sports everywhere, all day, every day. The very best quality available in Memphis. It's at Bellyacres. Burgers, shakes, and smiles. That's what you get at Bellyacres.
We have so much basketball on right now. Big 12 tournament, Pac-12 tournament, Big 10, Big East, SEC, ACC. We have an overtime game between Boston College and Wake Forest. We'll update you on that and discuss it when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane bring you Sports 56 Grind Time. Brought to you by Poultry Power. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the next generation of drivers, where titanium ends and the carbon age begins. Introducing the new Stealth Carbon Wood driver from TaylorMade, with 60 layers of carbon twist-based technology designed for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Chevy. Good news for new and used car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has a great selection of new and used cars and trucks, and Sunrise specializes in low monthly payments and secondary financing. At sunrisememphis.com, you can select your vehicle, get your trade appraised, arrange financing and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep, inspected and ready to go, no matter what your past credit. Sunrise wants to get you financed. Immediate financing with next to nothing down. Need body or service work? Bring it to Sunrise or schedule an appointment online. Find new roads to Sunrise Chevy, 385 in Houston, Levy, Collierville.
Action247.com is your Tennessee sportsbook for same-day pay. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Win a little or win a lot. Action247 has same-day pay. The other guys make you wait for your winnings. No more waiting with Action247 same-day pay. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action247. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
So, tickets punched last night. Jacksonville State, because of the Bellarmine win. That's still a bizarre situation to me. But Jacksonville Jacksonville gets knocked up out of there by Bellarmine, even though Bellarmine cannot actually do a postseason NCAA tournament. Gonzaga gets in. They were going to be in anyway. They're number one, probably going to be the number one overall seed, but they beat St. Mary's last night. Bryant, we already talked about them in the brawl. South Dakota State, Wright State beats Northern Kentucky, and then Delaware. Delaware with Jameer Nelson Jr., by the way. Jameer Nelson. I know I'm
How'd
young.
that happen?
I know I'm young, but I feel old with that one. That's bizarre to me. I mean, and he's their – probably – I don't know if he's their leading scorer, but he's up there, Jameer Nelson Jr. Solid. Very solid.
And kind of an upset.
Uh-huh. And by the way, now that we're into March and we're going to have Gonzaga on national TV, I need everyone to know about Dave Holmgren.
Yeah.
With his camcorder sitting there in the stands, not even cheering on his son. Not even cheering on his son, but taking video.
Just doing his documentary.
And by the way,
he's a documentarian.
Bryant and I had to check it. We had to check.
Mm-hmm.
Notable ponytail guy. Has the ponytail in the back.
Oh, really?
He looks like the guy that would have that camcorder.
Does, yeah.
He really does, doesn't he? He fits the bill. He really does fit the bill.
Yeah. I bet he's got everything in a closet, in a box.
I think he'll get some camera time during the tournament.
Oh, for sure.
That ponytail has to get.
Will he make one shining moment? They point their camera at his camera, and he gives them this.
That'd be big time.
You just painted a good picture there, Brett. That'd be good.
The pointing shot makes one shining moment loop every year with a cheerleader or a cheerleader winking.
Yep.
The cheerleader winking always makes it.
The cheerleader winking substantially better than Dave Holmgren and his ponytail. We'll say that.
Yeah. Dave Holmgren may have had fun in the day. Who knows?
Right now, something very interesting is happening in the ACC tournament. Wake Forest, who a lot of people know, they're going to be in the tournament and a lot. I mean, Steve Forbes got his extension. Actually, they're sort of a bubble team right now still, even though they're 23-8 and 13-7 in the ACC. They're losing to Boston College right now in the first round of the ACC tournament. 76-72, 140 left in OT. They still have a chance to come back, but this could thin out some of the seed lines, some of the bubble teams for Memphis. If Wake Forest loses here, I would consider that a plus for the Memphis Tigers.
For sure. It's part of the scenario of the Tigers still aspiring that 7 seed. Well, have to win the tournament. They have to win 3 games. Win Friday, Saturday, Sunday, be the champions of the AAC tournament. That's the first thing. And then get a little help like this and move into that 7 spot. And that's a lot better than anybody would have ever thought of 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how this figures itself out. We'll keep you updated. 140 left in OT, but Wake Forest does not look good today, and they've had a couple people foul out already.
This also helps you, Gabe, your 3-team AAC.
Yeah, certainly.
Because
sure does.
Right now, Lenardi has them as the first last 4-in team, Wake Forest. So that would definitely help SMU if they do lose it, because this would be a quad 3 loss for Wake Forest. That's it's not what they want right now.
So I was, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I was listening to Jerry Palm with the guys on mornings, and I also heard him with the ladies over at Grind City Media, Jessica Benton and Megan Triplett. And he was talking about Memphis should still be worried. He thinks Memphis, even if they win that first round game against USF or UCF, he says if they lose for a third time to a team like SMU, they should be uncomfortable on Selection Sunday. Do y'all buy into that?
If they lose for a third time and it's just down to 2 from the AAC, well, it makes it simple. SMU, if you beat somebody 3 times and just 2 are going from AAC, they get.
I don't think you don't just leave someone out because you want 2 from the AAC though.
I don't think so either.
I think the Tigers have built their resume up enough. If they have 20 wins,
let Texas A&M make a run, and they become a 7th SEC.
This doesn't all happen in a vacuum. So that's
right.
fair. That's a fair
lot of moving parts.
Assessment. But right now, where the Tigers sit with that win over Houston to end the year, I feel like if they win that first round game, I don't think a loss from SMU leaves them out.
Well,
the dry. I think
you're still a little nervous.
Scoreboard watching and a little nervous, a little apprehensive.
I think I would be personally. This is me. I think I'd be more worried of a Dayton seed line of putting them in Dayton if they lose to SMU.
I agree.
Than anything
That's
else.
It.
I still think they're a tournament team with a loss against SMU. And
I do too. Season sweep of Houston, the Nets at 35.
Right. I mean, and they've done well in the quad 1. Quad 2, they've struggled. I'm first to admit 3 and 4 in quad 2 does not help you in these conversations. But quad 1, 4 and 3, putting those good wins, and not to mention finishing the season the way you did has to count. When you get everyone healthy, you have to take that into consideration.
You do. It is conference championship week in college basketball, and FanDuel Sportsbook, they've got a great offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can place their first college basketball bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. Here's what I love tonight. I like Ole Miss minus 4.5. I know they got swept over the season series against Mizzou, but I like Ole Miss minus 4.5. And, yes, I like Georgia plus the 9.5 in the late SEC game. And Virginia in an ACC late game tonight, laying the 6.5 over Louisville, trying to get to the end of the year. Take a chance at a same game parlay bet. Jump into the action with live betting. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. The app is so easy to use. They're always hooking you up with great odds, so see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and sign up with promo code CASH to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Just a reminder, Ole Miss pregame at 4:30, tip-off at 5, SEC tournament versus Mizzou, first round of that. So we only have about 30 more minutes. One more segment. When we come back, we'll use that segment to talk with our good friend from Blue Ribbon Magazine, Blake Lovell, and get to Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't look...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me, 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied.
Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
You heard the man. Second hour of our program. Well, second half hour of our program. Again, 4:30 pregame for Ole Miss versus Mizzou. 5 o'clock tip-off. But second half hour of our program is brought to you by our good friends at the Big Green Egg. I always talk about the best ability being your availability. Sports and grilling alike. And the Big Green Egg, it captures that completely. It's made with the highest quality ceramic and has a lifetime warranty on all parts. For people that don't know, ceramic does not rust. Your gas grill, that metal thing you have out on your porch, it could be useful sometimes, but it does rust when the rain comes over the years. And I know a lot of people with a Big Green Egg have had it for 10, 20, 30 plus years and never had any issues. And it does so many different things. The variety of what you can do with it is unbelievable. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill. Obviously, I love to grill. I like to smoke some ribs. I like to be on my back patio cooking some burgers, but you can also cook pizzas on it. I mean, name another grill you can do that consistently with. I'll wait. Also, you can make some desserts, but you can find it in a lot of different places and in a lot of different sizes. There's 7 different sizes, so there's a size and a price point for everybody. You can find it in the area, Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, East Memphis Ace, and Cordova Ace Hardware. So, if you're looking for a do-it-all reliable, long-lasting grill at a great price point, look no further than the Big Green Egg. We go ahead and bring on our good friend from Blue Ribbon Magazine, Blake Lovell, at the Blake Lovell on Twitter. Blake, how are you, man?
Yeah, doing well, guys. Good to talk to you as always.
Here we go, Blake. This is the best time of the year. I swear, though, Blake, the smaller conferences are better than the big boys.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than, well, it does in one particular game that took place last night.
I was going to say, as long as we don't have a brawl, we'll be all right.
Yeah, as long as you don't have that. Yeah, the games usually are great, and I think it's usually in these kind of power conference tournaments, which I say that. Sometimes the earlier games in the tournament-wise can be better than the later games just because you get teams that are wearing down and stuff. But we didn't have that last year in the SEC. Alabama LSU was fantastic, so we'll see what we get this year.
So Brett and I ended our first hour sort of discussing the Memphis Tigers. Before we get into the SEC tournament, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports says if the Tigers, and obviously not all this happens in a vacuum, you could have some bid stealers and everything else. He says if the Tigers win their first-round game against whoever they play and then lose for a third time against SMU, they should be sort of shaking come Selection Sunday. Do you think if that is the case that they should be nervous on Selection Sunday, or do you think they're pretty comfortably in as long as they handle business in that first game in the AAC tournament?
Yeah, I think they win the first one. I don't really see how they get knocked out. But again, that's why I'm not a bracketologist, I guess. But the more I look at it, I told you guys last time, committee doesn't use the last 10 games anymore officially, but you can't tell me that you're not looking at a team who's playing as well as they have all season in their final stretch here and not going to consider that. So I think, yeah, they win the first one. I honestly, I don't. I mean, yes, there are bid stealers out there, but right. I don't know if they're going to be enough to push them out. I think that would take 5 or more, to be honest. So,
Blake, I heard Pat Bradley from the SEC Network, former Arkansas Razorback, heard him on a Little Rock show this morning, making the case that if you look at the numbers, the metrics, all the rankings, that this year LSU is almost a carbon copy of 2017 Final Four South Carolina, that he really thinks that's the team that can get hot in Tampa and ride it all the way to New Orleans. Agree or disagree?
Completely agree. I think that LSU is the team that I keep talking about, and I've been talking about them, probably as long as Pat has, in terms of just this is not a team that's record is indicative of kind of who they are. We have to remember they're 21-10 and 9-9, but if Xavier Pinson plays even 3 or 4 more games than he did in that stretch, I think LSU right now is a top 4 team in the SEC, and I think they're maybe even a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. So knowing they're the 5 seed and knowing that, I mean, let's say, because again, there's not a lot of, I think for the SEC team, there's not a lot of variety here in terms of their seeding. But let's say they lose their first one to Missouri or Ole Miss. That may drop them a seed line. If LSU's a 6, good luck to the teams that are the 3s and, you know, the 2s in that scenario in a Sweet 16, because I think LSU is built like a top 4 seed. They've got everybody back. They're at full strength. Their offense can be a little bit to be desired sometimes, but I just think that this is a team that could win this tournament this week. And quite frankly, guys, I would not be shocked, because I think that getting Arkansas for a 3rd time, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, we always say. I think that they would match up well with Arkansas. I think LSU is one of those teams that match up well with anyone in the league, and that includes Kentucky and Auburn. And I can't necessarily say that about a lot of teams.
But also with LSU, this notice of allegations that came down yesterday, do you think there could be some distractions? And how do you think that sort of figures itself out?
It's always noisy in Baton Rouge, though, with something.
Well, I think it's more motivation than anything, because to me, and I mean, my stance on this has been made very clear. I do not care about this thing anymore. It's just, it's been 5 years. Everything has been out there. There's no new information.
We know what he did. We know what happened.
Exactly. There's nothing new that can come out at this point. So either do something or don't do something. I don't think it's going to be a huge distraction. But again, you know, the tournaments are all about matchups and motivation too. And I think this is a team, if motivated, I think they can get to the championship. But again, there are some teams that aren't always motivated that we wouldn't even imagine. But I think that they will be motivated.
Now, Blake, I'm fine if the remaining, I think there are 5 remaining IARP cases, and Dennis Dodd, the very fine reporter, he reported yesterday that the committee is going to adjudicate all those in this calendar year. In 2022, it's going to come to a resolution. We know there's no appellate process. I'm fine with LSU skating, but I don't want LSU to skate and the Memphis Tigers walk the plank.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing, and that is part of the problem. And it's funny, we did something on this earlier today, and a lot of people who commented on the thing we talked about was Tennessee fans who had Bruce Pearl there, and a lot of their comments were, well, Bruce and a barbecue and all this stuff there. Now we know what's happened, you know, recently with Chuck Person and everything, but it's like they were thinking back to that situation and thinking, well, I mean, how can we possibly not be against Will Wade getting everything thrown at him that he can if we felt like, you know, our coach broke the rules that had something to do with a barbecue? So I think that's one of those things that's going to be very interesting, because, again, do I have any faith in the NCAA? Absolutely not. So who knows where it goes from here.
So as far as maybe a bid stealer in the SEC, and I think you'd sort of with the seed line, with what it became, 7, 8, 9, 10, South Carolina, A&M, Florida, and Mississippi State could be those teams that surprise some people when they get to Tampa. Do you think any of those guys, any of those teams, are capable though?
Yeah, I mean, Florida, I think, has the best path just because they need the least amount of wins. They've got to win 2. I mean, I think they're going to have a tough game against A&M, and then a rematch with Auburn will be tough, even though they beat them the first time. So I think Florida, just because they have the easiest, again, not the easiest path numbers-wise, I think they need 2, and they're in. 1, I don't think gets Florida in, because I don't think beating A&M moves the needle very much. A&M, meanwhile, if A&M beats Florida and beats Auburn, I think it's close for A&M, but since they're a little bit further back, I'd probably want another one just to be sure. So that's probably the only 2. Mississippi State, I've lost all confidence in Mississippi State having a chance at this point. I think that, you know, listen, they're on the easiest part of the bracket. I think the bottom part of the bracket is easier than the top, but I just don't have that. I don't have any confidence in that team playing right now away from Starkville. So I think they've got a tall task.
Tennessee in the Final Four. The big Final Four, not the Final Four in Tampa at the SEC tournament. I was asked this morning by Dave Woloshin on his show this morning on our station about Tennessee and Arkansas in the Final Four. I said no on Final Four prospects for them. Of course, I want to see matchups and all that good stuff, but just kind of a blanket no. What's your blanket on Tennessee in a Final Four run?
Yeah, I would probably say no too, just because I I mean, the guards are playing really well, and I think that's something that, certainly can benefit them. They've got 4 guys. That's going to be Chandler, Ziegler, and Jordan James, or Jordan James, I guess if you consider him a guard too. But when they're all playing well, I think they're in a really good spot. Defensively, they're a good team, but I wondered, losing someone like Kamwa and not having just another big body in there against some of these teams. I mean, they still got Fulkerson and Plastics and Huntley Hatfield, those guys, but I don't know. I'm convinced that Tennessee's playing their best basketball of the season, but for some reason, I don't feel like they pack the punch that some of these other teams do, and that's just kind of, I think, where I'm at on them right now. And, with Arkansas, I always say when you have a superstar, I always give you a chance because, you've got J.D. Note who can hit shots. You've got Jalen Williams who's playing as well as, any big man probably in the country right now. I mean, he's just playing so well. But if Audis Tony's out, I mean, he is their go-to, lockdown defender. And I think that would be the issue there. If he's injured, I just think that limits some of the things that Arkansas would do because they're not a real deep team to begin with. So injury issues for Arkansas would be something that would probably make me hesitate a bit.
Blake, I need a lot of help with Bama because once you get to tournament
we
time,
both do.
Once
we
you
don't
get
trust
to bracket time, it could go one of two ways. They could make this substantial run. They could look great. They could shoot the ball, shoot the peel off the ball, look great. But also, I think they could get knocked out in the first round. Which side
bracket killer? Which
side of that? I guess those two poles. Where are you at with them?
I tell you guys, they could lose to Vanderbilt or Georgia tomorrow night, or they could win the whole tournament in the SEC. And I said earlier,
neither would surprise you.
Neither. And I picked it. I said, look, my gut bracket pick for the SEC tournament is Auburn versus Kentucky in the championship. My chaos bracket prediction for the SEC tournament is Alabama beating LSU in the championship. So it's like that I think is legitimately a possibility. And it's just one of those things where because Alabama shoots so many threes, if they're hitting shots, they can beat anyone in the country. But this year they have not been that good from the three-point line, not as consistent, and they don't play defense at times, and that's a problem. So I don't have anywhere, I'm not saying anything that's shocking here. I don't have anywhere near the trust in this team as I would have last year, but they still have that possibility because they shoot so many threes, because they play
to
so
light
fast.
It up.
If they get hot, they can beat anybody. So
you can't defend that.
No, and you can, and it doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, it doesn't matter who's on the roster on the other side. It's hard to defend. So I think no matter what happens with Alabama, if they were to lose, again, let's just play worst-case scenario. Let's say Georgia beats Vanderbilt, Alabama loses to Georgia. Just Tom Crean rallying here at the end. If Alabama goes into the NCAA tournament as a 6th seed, again, could Alabama make the Final Four as a 6th seed? Yes, because you could put any number beside their name, and they could still make the Final Four. Like, I legitimately believe that with this team.
Mm-hmm. But Blake, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Enjoy the games, Blake. Blake Lovell with us every week from Blue Ribbon Magazine. He'll be with us next week when we have the tournament bracket in front of us. We thank DeSoto Auto Sales every day for being with us. All the cars test-driven at DeSoto Auto Sales, all checked out bumper to bumper on limited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go out there and find that car special for you. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they keep it so simple with the ultimate car experience guarantee. Kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they care about your time, and you'll find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and in 45 minutes or less, you're out of there with your new car in time to do it. Be home. You can do it right now and be home in plenty of time to watch all the games tonight. You can do it over your busy lunch hour. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the cars and check out all the testimonials from very, very pleased repeat customers, or give them a call at 662-890-7184. DeSoto Auto Sales, that town and country experience you've come to know, love, and trust down in DeSoto County.
Let's do it. Let's get to crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello!
it's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is that Wake Forest just lost to Boston College in overtime in the ACC tournament, 82-77. And if you listen to Joe Lunardi, he had them as the first of his last 4 byes, so avoiding Dayton and being in one of those seed lines. But this is just another example. At this point in the year, you don't play yourself onto the bubble. You play yourself off, and you play yourself into a lower seed, or
it's
maybe
what the Tigers
possibly
did.
Missing
the
the
Tigers
tournament.
won games. They removed all doubt, or mostly all doubt. There might be a smidge.
I think if they did something like this and lost the USF or UCF first round of the AAC tournament, you never know. You never know. But Wake Forest has put themselves in a tough situation right after extending Steve Forbes for some years. And I think Steve Forbes has done a really good job, 23-9, 13-7 in the ACC. But I think they gave him that extension thinking that they were a tournament team already, but they're going to have to be pretty uncomfortable come Sunday.
They will, and it's just that time of year. Win ball games, and you don't have to belittle anybody else's resume. You don't have to say what if. Just keep winning games, and it's like magic. It puts you right on that, firmly on that bracket come Sunday afternoon. I learned today that on Monday we had the Chattanooga improbable buzzer beater. On Tuesday we had the NEC Finals brawl. Dateline, Smithfield, Rhode Island. Not the Egg Bowl, not the Iron Bowl, the NEC basketball tournament. Who knew? Who knows where madness breaks out this time of year, and who knows where it'll break out tonight? Great time of year.
It is. It is. I like seeing the small schools get that ticket.
I love the emotion.
I try to keep myself from getting sad. I try to avoid
even the guy with the jack jaw. His jaw get well.
What I could have done without, and I knew Deion Sanders had been struggling with his leg and health with his leg. I was not sure exactly what was going on, but he put out an Instagram video yesterday. He had his big toe and his second toe, not second big. He don't have two big toes on the same foot, but a big toe and a second toe removed from his left foot because of blood clots that stemmed from a previous operation. I had wondered the entire year why he was in the power chair, why he was on crutches and everything else, and we figured it out. And it was kind of sad to see the Instagram video. There's an interview there, and it's certainly weighing on him. Being the athlete he was, how fast he was, the position he played.
They never threw at him. He was so good.
To not have those two toes, to not sort of feel
totally
that.
lock down one side of the field.
It's got to be a weird thing.
And then
for
go
him,
back
and
there
it's
and
tough.
punt return and have everybody in the stadium on the edge of standing up, thinking he's getting ready to house it and dance the last 30 yards.
And that's something he's going to have to deal with for the rest of his life.
Sure is. He better be careful because it
rough.
starts with the first two. And I have a great friend of mine that had to go through that. It's a terrible experience, and when they start that, the process is usually a long one. Could have done without. Finally, LSU must answer to the NCAA. Get ready for the big whitewash, though. You heard Blake Lovell say it. He thinks it'll be much about nothing. It was a long time ago. Well, that's fine if every IARP case is a bunch about nothing. And with LSU, you got Mark Emmert at the NCAA, and you got the LSU AD, Scott Woodward, whose stepson is married to Mark Emmert's daughter.
Mm-hmm. The thing that really gets me wondering about Will Wade's future with LSU, not just what has happened and what has transpired. LSU football fans don't like drama, and some of that is leaked over to the football program, and they're investigating some happenings in the football program.
Wonder if Brian Kelly knew all this before he signed up for it.
Exactly. You wonder how this is going to be taken by a lot of those LSU fans, the people in the LSU football program. I can't imagine.
If they do crazy well, and I say that lovingly, and I do love going down there, and I love those fans,
Brett,
but they're used to crazy.
I know, but I can't imagine they take kindly to that. I can't imagine.
Look, if you can live down in that sweat box year-round and every 2 weeks or for 2 weeks every year have to keep your eye on the golf, you can handle a little NCAA drama.
Well, they're always in it. They're perpetually in it. But I do agree with Blake in the fact that what do we really not know about the Will Wade situation? We know everything. There's an HBO documentary on it.
And did any of it surprise you? Does any of it surprise? Does any of it really?
Honestly, you can put a blanket on any notice of
repulse you.
Any notice of allegation that gets sent LSU's way. You can just sort of put a blanket. I'm not surprised over that.
I would just tell people, enjoy college sports, but what the stuff you've seen reported, I can promise you, things that haven't been reported is much worse.
What we're looking forward to tonight, only one ticket punched. You get to see Colgate and Navy fight it out, duke it out for the Patriot League. And then we have all the tournaments. We have everything going on. ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, Big 10, Big East, SEC.
Yeah, some bubble games pop up when you least expect it, like this afternoon at the ACC tournament. The big boys are all going ACC, SEC, Pac-12, Big 10. Everything gets rolling today, kind of. Some of the games tonight are the lesser teams in those leagues. We know that. But from 10:30 a.m. this morning until about 12:45 tomorrow morning, tonight late, we're going to have college basketball, and this is the time of year you got to stay up. And then Sunday we get the bracket and the time change.
Mm-hmm. In the NBA, we got ESPN games tonight. There's a big old slate tonight. We have a bunch of games.
It is.
Seems like everybody's playing. But Suns at Heat. Devin Booker's returning tonight. That's going to be a good one. And also Trailblazers at Jazz. That's one that
Suns and Heat could be the finals.
That's one
that could be an NBA finals.
It could. And with the Jazz, Grizzlies need to watch the Jazz right this second. I know they're moving into second.
Oh yeah.
But the Jazz are
watch everything.
The Jazz are being a little. They're quiet. They're trailing.
Baseball
quietly.
Deal tonight. Give me some votes, guys. Baseball deal before we meet again tomorrow.
No.
Yeah.
Bob Nightingale say they're close though, and John Heyman. But that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Coming up next, we're going to have Ole Miss pregame and then tip-off at 5 o'clock. Thanks to Alex Kuhn and Blake Lovell for their contributions. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll holler at you tomorrow at 3.